How's it going, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer, coming at you with another video. Back using the low-res VHS quality camera today. Now, I didn't really ever get into specifics, but the other reason why I use this camera is the type of file format in which the camera saves the video clips as. It's much more compressed. It's a smaller file, so I guess what I'm getting at is when I create my videos, the file is much smaller, easier to upload, quicker to upload onto YouTube. Whereas when I use my my other camera, which has 4K capabilities, even when I'm not shooting in 4K, the file format it's a large file. It takes a long time to render the video and upload it as well. So this channel here, it's kind of, you know, hopefully more about what I'm talking about, less visual. So I don't really care too much about visual aesthetics. I know maybe I should, but it's just a hobby channel, like I said. So, you know, a few things I wanted to talk about. Just wanted to, you know, see how you guys are doing out there. There's just, again, not a lot of content right now on YouTube. The well has run dry. I know there's a few channels out there still sort of clinging on to the Intellivision Amico, but as a whole, I think a lot of content creators have sort of backed away from the Amico, which is good to see. Not seeing as many videos being put out. I do think Tony TDG, I think he does have a weird obsession with the Amico. It seems like every video he puts out almost is about the Amico, or he's talking about, you know, a Marvel superhero film, or doing his gabbing with geeks live streams. I'm not knocking the guy. You know, you do you, but I'm not a fan of those types of films. So he was doing a live stream the other night, and they were talking about those types of movies. I just kind of have to shake my head, because you guys know me. Come from the world of Stanley Kubrick, Oliver Stone, all the good ones, and then you start talking about these other here today, gone tomorrow, McDonald's drive-through, get your Happy Meal, woof your food down, throw it out, throw the wrapper out, get your quick fix films. I'm going to lose my attention span rather quickly. So, Tony, the next time you do a live stream, buddy, you better start talking about some good films out there, okay? We've been, otherwise, we've been hit with some really harsh weather these last couple of days in Ontario, as you can see by these clips here. I could barely see the road. And I was talking to a buddy of mine who lives out in sort of the Midwestern region of the U.S., and I guess they were getting similar weather as well. So one of the harshest winters that I could recall. And here we are headed into March, and hopefully we get some warm weather soon. Good God. So I guess the meat and potatoes of today's video, the thing I really wanted to talk about, I kind of want to ask you guys a question, and I guess I should have posted it on my community tab, seeing as the community tab on YouTube, for those of you who aren't aware, it's now available to everyone to use, not just those who have 1K subscribers that are in that big boys club, if you will. But I should have posted this as a question. You know, is there a specific video game out there that you've ever been completely addicted to? And the reason why I wanted to mention that was, you know, it's funny with all the hype right now surrounding Elden Ring, which, let's be honest here, if you look at the gameplay mechanics of that game, it's very much at its roots a Dark Souls game. I don't care what anyone says. So with all the hype surrounding Elden Ring, I thought it would be appropriate to go back and put on Dark Souls, almost said Demon Souls, for the Xbox 360. Now, the funny thing is, I picked this game up last year, I believe, and I put it on, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't get too far. I think I beat the first boss. I got into the second section, and I've been stuck there ever since, and I sort of walked away from it. Had other games on the go. I've always got my fingers in different sort of puddings or pies, if you will. And so, yeah, I went back to Dark Souls and I put it on. And yeah, just having a blast with it. And the thing is I'm not good at it, but each time I play it, I get a little bit better at it. I get a little bit further in my progression. And right now, I'm still stuck in the same spot. I'm dying over and over and over again. But I just, last night, reached a new boss who kicked my ass. But then I respawn and I go back to the, it's kind of like a fire pit, if you will. And that's where the last save state is. But like I continue to sort of walk around the area and kill enemies. And I continue to level up until my character becomes a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger. And I think if I keep doing that, rinse and repeat, even if it takes 100 times, eventually I'll be able to get to that boss and hopefully be able to defeat him. It's like I don't know if you guys, any of you have played the game. It's the boss where like you enter, you're on like a causeway or a bridge, and this, it's almost like a huge bear. It comes out at you. And you turn around and you walk up, basically not a staircase, but a ladder up to the bridge. And then you can jump off the bridge with your sword and hit the monster on the top of his head. So that's where I'm at right now. But I wanted to mention it because, like, all I have on my mind right now is this game. I just want to play this game. I don't want to play anything else. I want to continue to try to beat that boss. There is definitely an incredible satisfaction in this game whenever you do overcome an obstacle. I totally get where people are coming from. And it's funny, I find From Software, the developers of this game, if you really look at the titles they've put out over the last couple of years, they tend to put these games out relatively quick because this game came out, 2010? And then shortly thereafter we got the sequel, Dark Souls 2. And then we got Bloodborne. And then we got Dark Souls 3. And then we got, what was the other one? Sekiro? Was that the one? Maybe I got it wrong. And then we've got Elden Ring. So they're just pumping out the titles. Plus there was a remaster of Demon Souls when the PS5 launched as well. So there's no shortage of titles for me to chip away at from this developer. I haven't even tried this game yet. And I just picked up Bloodborne as well. But we got to start with the original Dark Souls first. And, I don't want to just keep going on about Dark Souls, but there's just something about the environment. I don't know what it is, but I'm just really attracted to it. I'm talking visually when you're walking through the land and you look out at the skybox and you see like a mountain and you see trees. I just really enjoy it. And it's funny because, it doesn't specifically, I don't think it really states in this game, what time period it is, but it's obviously taking inspiration from like, I don't know, the 1400s to 1500s. Maybe I have that wrong. And you think I'd be the last person that would be interested in that because that's not really sort of a time period that interests me in real life. I'm not on my time off scouring through books, reading about Greek mythology and all the rest of it. But it's funny because, going back several years ago, I had the same itch with Skyrim. Again, I'd be the last person that would be interested in this sort of timepiece, this environment of this game. But I was hooked with this game. I couldn't put it down. Here I am crawling through the dungeons, just leveling up, and the time is just melting away like sand through an hourglass. And I put so many hours into this game. I think maybe I played this game more so than any other game I've ever played in my life. I probably put hundreds of hours into this game. I have to boot it back up and look at my save file. But it's the same thing. It's like I'm walking around in this, at least at the time, beautiful open world. I'm not really invested in the story. I don't care. But I just can't stop wanting to explore. Again, leveling up. Searching every sort of nook and cranny. I'm one of those game players where I like to sort of open up every drawer, every closet, go into every house. I have always been like that. I was like that ever since A Link to the Past, Legend of Zelda on the Super NES. And it's funny, like a buddy I was talking to, he said to me, he's like, Cam, he's like, don't take this as an insult, but you seem like the type of game player. You're the gamer that likes to sort of play games on easy because you like to be able to explore the world, take your time, take in the story if you can understand it, and absorb everything the game has to offer and enjoy the entire experience versus, putting the game on max difficulty, getting your fucking ass handed to you. And that some people actually really like playing their games like that. I know Elfenerd, say what you want about him, but he's really good at video games, and he can, probably beat most of you guys under the table as far as NES and Genesis games are concerned. To this day, I still can't beat Vector Man. I still can't beat Sonic the Hedgehog. But he could, sort of rip through those games with one hand tied behind his back. And it's something to be said. Not everybody can do that. But the same could be said about gamers like myself. Not everybody has the ambition to play a game like Oblivion, where you go into this open world and there's so much to do. It can be overwhelming. And again, same goes with Skyrim. And some gamers can tackle both styles of games. Some gamers out there are just fucking good at games. I'm sorry, they're good at video games. It's in their blood. But they can play Red Dead Redemption 2 as well, or they can play a game that's a slower affair. And so that's the cool thing about this hobby is you're going to meet different sort of styles of gamers out there. And like DJC Game Studios said, I like to play video games. I never said I was good at them. But like I said, Dark Souls is just like Skyrim, just like Oblivion. It's kicking my ass, but I just want to keep going back to it. I want to overcome these obstacles. I want to see the game through. I want to be able to say that I beat that next boss. I want to feel that sense of accomplishment. It's just like if you were growing up back in the day, if you were on a baseball team or you were playing hockey or whatever sport it was you were playing, obviously there's a competitiveness to it. And you're not, some people might just be playing those sports for the fun of it, but let's be honest here, there's a competitiveness to it. And if you're playing hockey and you're a left winger and you're in the playoffs and then you score that overtime goal, obviously there's a rush of excitement that goes through your body. And the same goes for when you play a difficult game like this, and you feel like you're just never going to be able to beat that boss, and then one day you finally do. And a lot of with regards to video games, guys, is repetition. I mentioned Sonic the Hedgehog earlier, and I mentioned how I've never beaten it, but I've never really sat down and obsessed over it. I bet you if I obsessed over it, if I was locked in a room for, 3 years, and all I had at my disposal was Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm sure eventually I would know the levels like the back of my hand. I would know exactly when the enemies are going to jump at me. I would know the levels, all the nuances and the intricacies of all these levels, and it's the repetition that makes you better at these games. If you just pick up a game and you try to run through it and then you die, then you walk away, well, it's not gonna do you any favors. It's all about repetition, and I think that's why a lot of gamers out there get turned off by the From Software games, is because they're so difficult. Hell, I walked away from this game in frustration as well several months ago, and then as I was sort of stewing around thinking about this game, it was Elden Ring that got me thinking about this game. When I was thinking about it, I was thinking about how I was successful in Skyrim, and what did I do? I walked around the open world and I leveled up. And the same goes for this game. I put it back on the other day for the first time in months, and I thought about it. I'm like, how can I tackle this area? How am I ever going to get by it? And I just started leveling up and learning some of the other, again, intricacies of the game, the level design, the weapons, and everything else at my disposal. So again, if you're having a hard time with a game out there, you just need to obsess over it. So I guess that's what I wanted to talk about. I'm pretty obsessed with Dark Souls right now. I know that sounds kind of funny because this game is over a decade old and everyone has moved on to bigger and better things. But with all these games I have at my disposal right now, all I want to kind of play is Dark Souls. I don't know if this is backwards compatible with the Xbox One. I do know that this game got a re-release on the Xbox One and the PS4 as a trilogy pack with all 3 games, I believe, running at 60 frames per second. Whereas, to be honest with you, this game runs at 30 frames per second on the Xbox 360, and I am seeing some issues with the frame rate, unfortunately. Now, there was downloadable content for this game, and it even got a re-release on the PS3 as a physical game with different box art. So I'm not sure if that came out in North America or not. I did see it on eBay. It looks like it's not too expensive. So I don't know. We'll see. Might be worth picking up. Or maybe just getting the remastered version of these games. I can remember walking into an EB Games a couple of years ago, and I saw a special edition of the remastered Dark Souls games, and it came in kind of like a cardboard digibox, kind of like this. And I think they wanted like almost $100 for it, but probably should have picked it up. I don't see that around anymore. So yeah, that's it. I thought I'd run this video a little bit longer than normal. I've got a little bit of time on my hands, and more to the point, I'm just not seeing a lot of content out there on YouTube right now. So, like I said, most of the channels that were obsessing over the Miko have sort of pumped the brakes, with the exception of DVD Fever Games and Generation X Gamer. Those 2 guys. You guys got to pump the brakes on the Miko content, okay? So I'm going to, I guess, end this video here and take a sip of my Fiji water. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your afternoon. Thanks so much for watching. And while I spill this water all over me, don't do anything I wouldn't do.